And Amy Chua and Jed Rubenfeld are here. It's a fascinating territory, this. But when you look at some of the things you say in the book, for example, why do so many Jews win so many Nobel and Pulitzer Prizes? That just sounds like a new, modern kind of racism, doesn't it?
I think it's the opposite. You know, what we show in our book, first of all, is that some of the most successful groups in America today are Black and Hispanic. Right off the bat, that shows that success has nothing to do with skin color or race. Secondly, we show that the groups that are very successful change dramatically over time. So Asian Americans, they're extraordinarily successful academically in the first and second generations. Studies show that by the third generation, Asian American students perform no better than the rest of the country. So it's nothing intrinsic in the culture.
But let's take another of your examples. You ask, why are Mormons running the business and finance sectors? I mean, you're making massive, broad brush stereotypes here. Huge assumptions.
Oh, these aren't assumptions. In fact, it's a little puzzling. So it's just a matter of fact. American Jews are less than 2% of the U.S. adult population, and they have won over a third of America's Nobel Prizes. Now, that's a fact, and it's a little puzzling to me. What does it mean? You can't state facts? Have we gotten to the point where if you state facts about groups, you're accused of stereotyping? You know, here's what some people are saying when they accuse us of cultural racism. We say things in our book like, Asian American kids are spending 70 to 100% more time on schoolwork on average than the rest of the country. Again, it's a matter of fact, and that's called cultural racism. And you know what? If that's cultural racism, to state that fact, what that's going to do is leave the entire field of race to the extremists, to the people who have genuinely racist views, who are happy to tell you what they think all over the media. And if progressive people are too afraid to enter this fray, it's going to just cede the whole field to them.
So who are then, though, the groups, the bad groups who aren't doing so well? Because you say all you're doing is highlighting success here. Who are not on your list?
Right, now, first of all, it is not about good and bad groups.
Well, that's what your book is all about. No. Success, superiority. This is how you get to the top.
It's actually about certain behaviors and who is doing well right now. So we say that there are certain behaviors, it's partly the combination of feeling exceptional and insecure that creates this drive and discipline. And these behaviors are open to people of any ethnicity, any group.
But you carefully in your book pick out the groups who are doing well and those who are not.
Exactly. So certain groups right now are instilling these qualities more in their families, in their children, and therefore they're doing better. So our idea is, rather than make this taboo, let's figure out what some of these behaviors are, which are pretty simple. Some of them is, we show that these groups start at a very young age, preschool, and there's just more focused behavior, 3, 4, 5. Now, not everybody has to like that. You don't have to care about success. But if we hide that information, it's like, no, you cannot say that certain groups are doing that. How can that lead to progress? And how can we even deal with our education reform?
What about happiness? I mean, you're preaching in this book, clearly your triple package: superiority, discipline, and insecurity. What about happiness? Enjoying your family, enjoying yourself?
Well, we do have 2 chapters in the book where we lay out just that problem, because it's really an honest look at the costs of this drive that some groups are instilling in their kids. It's not a celebration of it, that's just a mischaracterization of the book. And one of the things we point out is that at the extremes, this kind of culture, this kind of upbringing can produce a great deal of unhappiness. It can. In fact, look, if any of us had a button to push that would choose between success and happiness, wouldn't we all pick happiness? But is it really that simple? I mean, if you over-romanticize the problem and you don't arm kids with any of the abilities and tools that it's going to take to succeed in this very competitive economy, are they going to be happy?
So what can we, in Britain, where I suspect your message might raise perhaps more eyebrows than it has in the US, what can we learn from what you are putting in this book, what you are preaching?
Well, the one thing is that we notice that a lot of these successful groups are instilling in their families, in their children, this message, which is very unpolitically correct. You know what? We have high expectations. We believe in you, but you're essentially not good enough yet. And that feeling, it seems very nasty to tell your child they're not good enough yet, but think about the other extreme. The opposite of feeling that you're not quite good enough, that you need to prove yourself, is feeling entitled.
Okay.
And that's not so good either.
All right. Cruel to be kind. I must be cruel to be kind. We must leave it there, but thank you both very much indeed for coming in.